Hey there, third grade. We are going to be starting today on page 85. So grab your book, start turning there now. This is the first page of our lesson and lesson 3.3, Apply Properties 6 and 7 as Factors. And at the end of our lesson, we want you to be able to say this: I can make and use models to solve multiplication problems that have 6 and 7 as factors. And all that's trying to say is that we want to be able to solve a multiplication problem if one of the things we're multiplying is 6 or 7. All right, that's our I can statement for today. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So let's go ahead and jump into it by turning to the next page, page 86. So here on page 86, if you're not there, pause the video and get there with me right now. On page 86, it says the band members of the band march in 6 equal rows. Will you underline 6 equal rows with me? There are 8 band members in each row. How many are in the band? So we can multiply to find the total for an array. And this is what we were working on the last few days. But if we look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going down the side. And then how many across? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so this array is 6 by 8. And so if we look at box B down here, box B tells us, yep, we want to find 6 times 8. And that's why in our word problem up here, 6 rows and 8 in each row are what we multiplied, all right? Or underlined, not multiplied, sorry. That's what we put so that we can find out how many band members there actually are. So let's go ahead and, like I said, go to box B. And in box B, it says find 6 times 8. We can use 5 facts and 1's facts to do this. So they took our array up here and used our chips down here, the little counters, all right? And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all right? All the way down is 6, and then going across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So going across is 8, so it's a 6 by 8. But they didn't just leave it like that. No, they wanted to use easier numbers for us to do because we're multiplying by an 8, and that's a lot. So what did they do? Well, they decided to break it apart. If you remember, our distributive property tells us that that's exactly what we can do. We can take our 6 and break it into a 5 and a 1 because 5 plus 1 equals 6. So we still have 6 rows. We just broke them into some easier parts to do. Well, now that I've done that, I know my 5 facts really well. So 5 times 8 is 40. And then I've just got one row of 8. And the identity property tells us, well, anything times 1 is the other factor. So 1 times 8, it's going to be that 8, all right? Well, now that we have that, all right, so what we're saying is there's 5 8s plus 1 more 8, which is what 5 times 8 and 1 times 8 equals. Now we can add those together. So 40 plus 8 is going to give us 48. So at the end of our time, we can say 6 times 8 equals 48. Now, you look down here, that 48 is not just 48 anything, is it? Now, in our word problem, we were asking how many are there in the band? And I usually like to circle the question that's going on. How many are in the band? So what we want to know is how many members are in this band? So when we total up our array and find that it's 48, well, if I don't put my label, this could be 48 pizzas. This could be 48 touchdowns. It could be anything, which is why they put 48 members, because that now tells us, oh, that's right. We were actually solving a word problem about band members. All right, so I can go back to the beginning and double check that. Well, let's go ahead and turn to page 87 to see another example of what this looks like. All right, so here we are on page 87, and we've got another example. This time, it's not a word problem. It's just saying find 7 times 8. Use 5 facts and 2's facts to help multiply by 7. All right. So again, multiplying by 5, skip counting by 5s, usually a little bit easier, and same with our 2's. So here, how many are we going to go down the side? Well, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 going all the way top to bottom. And then across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So we've got an array of 7 times 8. All right. So what they did was they took that, and then this is the picture that they're using to help them solve this problem. All right. So now they said, well, we want to break it into a group of 5 and then a group of 2. So they separated these two parts out right here. Well, now I can do these and add them up because our distributive property tells us we can break them apart if we add them back together at the end. All right. So just like before, 5 times 8 is 40. And now I've got a double, or a two, times 2, not a doubles fact, I'm sorry. Not a doubles fact, but a times 2. So we want 8 2 times, and that's 16. Once we've got all of that, now we can add them up. 40 plus 16 is equal to 56. So what is 7 times 8? Well, 7 times 8 is that 56 right there. That's how we can solve this problem. All right. Now, as we get down to our guided practice down here, I want you to take a look at number 3. All right, number 3. And my first one here is 6 times 10. All right, 6 times 10. Now, I don't have a ton of space down here, do I? No. So I can choose to do a couple of different things. Maybe I want to grab a piece of paper. Maybe I want to grab a whiteboard. Maybe I just want to use the space that's on my paper already to solve this. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose that one where I'm going to use the space that's here. I see a big space up here, so I'm going to draw this out. All right. So I've got 6 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then across is 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to go ahead and keep on doing that all the way across. And I make sure in my array, everything as lined up as possible. Now, it's not going to be exact, and that's okay, but I don't want it to get too crazy. I don't want it to get too messed up because I want to make sure that I'm keeping all of this as intact as possible to create just a nice array for me, all right? And I'm going all the way across and making sure, there it is. I've got 6 by 10, all right? 6 by 10. Well, just like before, we were trying to get to 5 and 1 or 5 and 2. I'm going to do the same thing. I want to break this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so if I go right there, so I have 5, and there's 10 in each row. So 5 times 10. And down here, I just have one row, and there's 10 in that row. So 1 times 10. Now that I've done this, these are easy problems. 5 times 10, I know that, that's 50. And then 1 times 10 is 10. If I add those up, it's going to give me 60, right? So for number 3, we can go ahead and fill in that we've got 60. All right. Well, let's go ahead and check out number 4 next. Well, I kind of ran out of room, so I'm going to grab a scratch piece of paper. To me, I've got a sticky note here. Maybe you've actually got a notebook that you can go ahead and grab real quick to be able to solve a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and start off. I've got my 7 times 6, so I'm going to draw this. And remember, our I can statement said we can draw a picture to help us out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is called a model. And now I'm going to go across by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I just make sure that I keep going in my lines. I don't even have to count. I can just look at where they are and make sure that they are all lined up here. And that will be enough for me to know that I've got all of them right here. All right. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 going across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going across the top. 7 by 6. All right, 7 times 6. Well, just like before, I want to get this into something easy like a 5. So I'm going to break this apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to draw my line right there. I've got 5. How many are in each row? There's 6. So 5 times 6. Down here, I've got 2 rows. And how many are in each row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. 5 times 6, 2 times 6. Well, I know 5 times 6 is 30. Again, that's one of those multiplication facts I know. And then 2 times 6 is 12. Now I can add these together. So 0 plus 2 is 2 in my 1's place. 3 plus 1 in my 10's place is a 4. So my answer is 42. All right. Try to break these numbers down into some easier numbers for me to work with. All right. Well, we're going to jump down next to number 7. All right. Come down here to number 7. And it says, find 4 times 7. I don't really like the way that's written. I like using my operation. So I'm going to rewrite it 4 times 7. Oh, that's something that I can see and know. All right, 4 times 7. All right, so for 4 times 7, I'm going to do the same thing. Grab myself some scratch paper. I've got a Post-it note just so I can get rid of these quick and easy. All right, and 4 times 7. So I've got, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 7 across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I can just make sure that every single one goes right underneath the one above it. There we go. All right. So I could cut this into 2 and 2, but I'm still working with that tricky 7. I want to break this apart into a 5. So I'm actually going to go across the top this time to make my 2 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to draw my line. And then I still have 2 over here. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then how many is it going down? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 times 4. And then here I've got 1, 2. And how many going down? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, this is a little bit easier, isn't it? 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 4 is 8. What's 20 plus 8? 28. All right. I'm going to ask you to, in just a second, pause your video. You're going to work on number 5, 6, and 8. All right. 5, 6, and 8. Go ahead, use your arrays to do these different ones, but go ahead, pause your video right now and try that out. All right, I hope that you were able to pause your video. If not, do that right now to solve these problems. We're going to go over them right now. So number 5, all right, I've got 7 times 7. Now, to make this go just a little bit quicker, I already drew out my array. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then going across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a 7 by 7. And just like we've been doing, I'm going to go ahead and break it into a 5 and a 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And now I've got 5 going across. 5 going down, and there's 7 in each row. So 5 times 7. And then I've got 2 going down, and there are 7 in each of those. All right. These become easier numbers for me to work with, right? Well, 5 times 7 is going to be 35. All right. And then 2 times 7 is going to be 14. Now, I'm going to bring those two numbers over. I'm going to make sure that I line up my place values while I add these together to make sure my 1's place lined up and my 10's place lined up. 5 plus 4 is 9. 3 plus 1 is 4. 7 times 7 is 49. All right. My next one. All right, the next one I've got is 9 times 7. 9 times 7. Now, some of you might be going, all right, Mr. Campbell, I made my array. I'm just going to count these up. Think about how long that would take for us to count this up. There are so many here, right? So I don't want to do that. I want to do a shortcut. I want to do something that's going to save me some time and some work. So I'm going to go ahead. I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I'm going to cut it into 5 and 2. All right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 times, and there's 9 across. 5 times 9. And then I have 2 times 9. All right, 5 times 9, well, that's 45. 2 times 9, that's 18. Now I can bring my 45 plus 18 and make sure my place values lined up. 5 plus 8 is 13. Regroup my 1 over. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So my final answer is 63. All right, last one. Here we go. Number 8. Number 8. Number 8 is multiply 6 times 5. 6 times 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to cut it there. I've got 5 going down, plus 5 in each row. So 5 times 5. Here I've got 1 row, and there's 5 in it. All right. 5 times 1 is 5, because anything times itself or times 1 is itself. And then up here I've got 5 times 5. Well, that is 25. Ooh, well, 25 plus 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. Regroup over. 6 times 5 is 30. that might be one you didn't even need to draw your array because we already had it in a nice, easy 5. But maybe you did. Maybe this helped you out a little bit more as well. No matter what it is, if the arrays are helping you, keep drawing them. Don't give up now. Keep on drawing those arrays to help you break it into some smaller, more easy and manageable factors to multiply together to get our final answer. Well, thanks so much for working with me today, 3rd grade. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next time.